What is up, guys? My name is MipZ and welcome back for yet another League of Legends video. So today we are playing an extremely fun champion. This is a champ that I think pretty much anyone who's ever played support or mid lane are probably gonna go through trying and playing a bit throughout their career in League of Legends, because she is pretty amazing, and I guess you could say that she kind of sparks a lot of joy in a lot of people. Get it? Spark? Light? Okay, yeah, that was a bad one. Anyway, today we are, of course, playing LUX. And LUX is an amazing champion. Today we're playing her as a support, so that's what we're going to be focusing on. For those of you who are new in here, then this video will solely focus on the macro play of playing LUX, meaning the decision making, the early, mid, and late game, basically how to play her, what to look out for. And yeah, we're basically going to be using this game as an example to let you guys in on my train of thought, and hopefully you guys will be able to learn a thing or two from it. If you, however, just need to learn the mechanics, how the abilities work, the combos, the advanced combos, flash combos, then I've left a link for my other video down below, so just go ahead, follow that one if that's what you need to see. But this one is going to teach you how to overall play the champion in throughout the game as such. So yeah, we're just gonna jump more or less straight into it. However, if you are new in here, then make sure to subscribe down below, click that button, join in. I would really greatly appreciate it. And yeah, if you want to see me live, go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. I stream every single Friday. And of course, if you do enjoy this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you would just smash that like button down below for me. Anyway, we are today playing LUX as a support, and she is such a freaking fun champion. LUX is kind of one of those champs that are, even though a lot of people play her, most people actually misunderstand how she's supposed to be played and basically what your focus is. Because one thing you gotta remember when playing LUX support, just like any other support, is why do you even have a support? What's the purpose of having a support? And the general purpose of this is not to take all the kills and just deal massive damage. The purpose of having a support is actually to ensure that you help out your ADC. You want your ADC to basically get to a point where he can carry. That's the purpose of playing a support. With a mage support like this one, we are able to do quite a lot of things in order to succeed. Right here, we are playing against something that you could consider being a bit of a counter for LUX, and especially with Israel as well, because they have both sustain and they have a lot of poke damage with Brand. That actually is a really hard matchup for LUX. But we'll try anyway and see if we can get to basically win this. The thing in this lane for us here in the early game is that these guys are gonna basically do better than us, most likely here in the early game. They have sustain and they have a really long poke range with their Brand. And yes, we do have long poke, and that's what we want to be going for, but we at the same time want to try and stay a bit safe. So we want to make sure that we do whatever we can to stay safe. Whoop. And right here we can see Brand is actually so just for that fact, we are going to be able to play a little bit more aggressive. But as we get to level 6, that is where we know we outscale. So we actually just, like, what we need to do is that we need to get level 6 before we actually go for all ins, unless we get to poke them down. But they're most likely going to be able to poke us a lot easier than we're going to be to poke them. And especially because they have a bit better pushing power than we do, I can try and help out my ADC a little bit with hitting the back minions in order to try and shove the lane back. But right now, like, the matchup we are in here really just comes down to hanging in there till level 6, because our level 6 power spike is really freaking good, because we can actually, to a certain extent, outrange them. If I hit a snare, I can both E them and we can ult them directly, and Israel also has his ult that he can ult on top of my snare. So once we get level 6, we are in a really good spot, but till level 6 it is going to be really more of a hang in there fight than anything else. And this is something that can be really good for you to actually evaluate in the beginning of a match, is, okay, how's this going to be? As a LUX player, then what you want to be doing as support is you want to go for fast trades and early trades, or not early, but fast trades, and you want to make sure that you try to get an auto attack in there in order to actually proc your passive, because that's the way you can really fast like outpoke people is hitting them with your E and then an auto attack, and you also have your shield in order to diminish the potential that their poke is going to be larger than yours. So you really want to be thinking about how do you get the most out of your pokes, and it's very important that you do try and get the auto attacks in after you hit an ability, because you do a lot of extra damage with the passive side of it. So every time you have this, I don't remember, what did you call it? Do you call it illumination? Every time you have that on a target, it is very important that you try and get that auto attack off, because it's really gonna, it does quite a significant amount of extra damage. So that's what you want to be going for. What I see a lot of players, especially, is on LUX, that they forget to take advantage of the poke that is from this auto attack. Whoop. We're gonna try and just peel off here. Yep, we're gonna put this one here. I know people are right now thinking that putting this E here might be a little weird. One thing you got to think about when using your E is actually, oh, we can go for this. Okay. Could have gone for a flash play, but seeing as he had flash as well, he would probably just instantly flash. Now that we have pressure in lane, this is really, really good. All we need now is that now we are in a position where we can poke, and this is exactly what we want to be. Right, you can just see the poke we can fire back, which is awesome. Oh, we are gonna be able to hit her. Like that range, and this is exactly what you want to do with LUX, is trying to hit your poke. Seeing as they, and that's what I said, as we start getting closer to level 6, especially at level 6, we're really gonna start to outscale them in an all-in, because our ults are a lot better. But seeing as Nidalee came down here and helped us gain pressure in the lane, then what you want to do in a disadvantage situation with your ADC is you want to try and push the lane, shove them under turret, and especially with a champ like Ezreal, such that you can actually poke them under turret, and you don't have to, like, your Ezreal can also use his abilities, and even with another ADC, that they can use their time just trying to poke whenever they can, and we can try and keep the minion wave under their turret. Oh, we need to be a little careful up here, because there are different ways of playing in a bot lane. In this case, we know that the only thing we can do is we can poke and we can go all in, and we really want to poke people till they're around like 50% health, and then we want to be going for the all in. So this is the general idea of what to do, which can be a little difficult. If they push us under our turret, then Ezreal is going to have to use all his time to try and basically shove the lane back, or at least get as much CS as possible, and they're going to be freely going to be able to just poke us. But if we shove them under turret, we can do quite the opposite to them, which is really, really awesome. So we can see right here, should be a free hit on the ult. Oof, I could have flashed there, but I actually thought Ezreal would get it, so I didn't do it. Like, I'm not playing this perfectly at all, but the general idea here is when you're playing in a favorable matchup, you want to keep them in the middle of the lane where you can keep poking them as much as you can, while not like pushing too far, so you're more unsafe. If you're playing in an unfavorable matchup, then what you want to do is you want to try and do everything you can in order to try and shove the enemy under their turret. And the reason for this is that if you push them under their turret, then you will be able to poke them even though you're playing in a disadvantaged situation. If you're not able to shove the lane, then you'll have to sit and try and farm on the turret, and you'll just kind of try and hang in there. And most setups you are going to be doing pretty well as soon as you get past level 6. So this is something you want to be thinking about. Also, a really, really important aspect of playing LUX is using your E correctly. There are many ways. Like right now, I know because I'm talking, I'm missing a lot of my abilities that I shouldn't be. But the idea of how you want to use it is, one, you have your E for poke, but you also have it for a type of zoning. And I know this sounds a little weird. It really does. But whenever you cast your E, you know it has this slow effect. Like if people run inside it, they get slowed. So imagine that we're getting ganked. Then the better option for me will be to cast my E right here. And once the enemy jungler has to go through all of the E, and once he gets to the very end of it, then you explode it. Never explode it at the very beginning, because there's no idea or no purpose of doing so. It's a lot better for you to just do it right, like wait till he's run through the entire slow effect of it. So also use this as a slow. Like think about the fact that what is the purpose of having a support? Well, the purpose of having a support is not that the support gets a lot of kills. It is to help out your ADC, help your ADC get kills, help your ADC get farm, keep your ADC safe, meaning that yes, you can set up kills with your Q, you can poke with your E, but more importantly is if somebody tries to dive your ADC and you're set between the option of trying to kill someone else or helping out your ADC, your choice every single time should be to help out your ADC. You should be snaring, slowing whatever target, remembering to shield your ADC. Like your W is such a powerful tool, and it is one of the harder things to hit on LUX, because first of all it moves back and forth, and your teammate also can move in quite unexpected directions, and a good ADC will also kind of try and catch this this W. So really do think about that. So at this point we're reaching a point in the game where we're starting to actually be kind of a threat to them, which is super nice. We got our level 6, and now you can see we're actually in a really good spot. What we need to be a little aware of is their jungler, but we can see she's top, so the only one that's not accounted for is their jungler. And I'm just poking down this. We're actually going to be able to get a double hit here, and we're going to make sure that we get our shield off as soon as possible. We're going to keep range so we don't die to that one. And right here, that was a really nice fight for us. Should be able to hit this. Hopefully we can get the kill for... Okay, yeah, we're gonna get the kill, but this was more of a purpose of whether anybody gets the kill or nobody does. So right here, it's still gonna be a huge victory. We're gonna poke this down and make sure that Israel can get some of these armor platings. So we'll just push as much as we possibly can here. We see that the Drake is also up, but we know their jungler's top side, so we can keep pushing, which is really nice. But yeah, with LUX, if you're playing against unfavorable matchups, most of them you're going to start really outscaling as you get level 6. So playing safe till level 6 can be really freaking good. And especially as a newer LUX player, think about that. But yeah, one thing I just kind of want to reiterate real quick is in the favorable matchups, try and keep wave management somewhat in the middle here, meaning as the LUX player, you do not want to be hitting any of the mid minions such that the wave pushes. But in an unfavorable matchup, it can be really good for you to sometimes push a bit on the minions, hit the minions, so you can start pushing towards their turret. And once you get them under their turret, you can poke them down. One thing you gotta be very aware of when playing this unfavorable matchup and doing this push tactic, like shoving them under their turret so you guys can poke them, is that you need to start thinking about, first of all, accounting for their jungler constantly. Every 10 seconds, you should be thinking, where are their jungler? Secondly, you should be warding a bit deeper, meaning you might have to ward a bit up in the river in order to actually have enough response time for whenever they're going to come and gank you. So doing that, you have to be much more aware of what's actually going on. But I'm going to hit the back minions here again. We really do want to try and shove this back. I might actually be able to hit a Q there. Okay, I'm not. This is going to be very painful for me. I'm probably gonna die. It's gonna be very close. I'm actually just gonna fire off my ult before I'm back. I know it doesn't really matter, but like before I get back anyway, it's almost gonna be back. The cooldown on this one is so low, and I know there's only a minor chance here that I would have hit it, but it's like, why not? Like at this point, just firing it off is better than nothing. So I'm gonna go back. I think I'm actually gonna bring an extra potion here. I'm gonna bring it to control ward in a really good gank down there. Super nice. All right, so we've kind of covered the different strategies for the early game. Is basically like you want to poke as much as you can if you're free for it. Every time you poke people down past like around 50% or less, then you can start thinking about hitting your Qs and going for those all-ins. Depending on which ADC you're playing with, you might be able to do it like before 50%. It's not like undoable. But do remember that going all in, like in a fight where people are 100% on both sides, is gonna be a bit more risky, because it's gonna be more of a coin flip unless you know for a fact that the setup you're playing is stronger at that point in the game than the opposite, or than your opponent. So this is something you do want to think about. With LUX in the early game, like roaming is not the thing that you're gonna be doing the most. You don't have a lot of mobility. And if you do roam in the early game, I'm not saying that you cannot at all, but then kind of think about whether or not it's safe for you to do so. Not meaning that you're safe, but meaning look at your ADC and say, okay, if I leave my ADC now, like, am I putting him in a real shitty situation? Because most of the time, that's actually going to be the case. No, that was a real terrible fight by me, actually. Whoop. Okay, it ended out a lot better than it should have. Okay, that was fairly close. Oh, nice, nice, nice. He's actually gonna get it. Really good. Good job, buddy. Good job, man. All right, so we're gonna just shove this forward so we can go for a back. I'm gonna try and zone her out. We also have oh, close one. All right, when we shove under here, oh, okay, this can be really free. Nice, Nita. We know she's gonna run that way, so we'll put it right on top of him. That's gonna be another free kill. Really, really nice. So again, we'll help out here. We know we're gonna go for a back, so we'll just hit the back minion to kind of give them less HP, so Ezreal can push faster and we can go for a quicker back. We might as well help him get his farm low in these cases where it's like we need to go for a back. So right here, we're gonna go for this. We should probably rotate top. Should rotate top. I think that's the best case right now. Also, we need to change this. I should have done that earlier. Yeah, that's basically generally what you want to be doing in the early game. Roaming wise, like LUX is like you can roam, but really think about when you do so whether or not your teammate is going to be safe, because that is most generally going to be your issue. There we go. I'm not gonna ult because I know these guys should hopefully have it, and otherwise we'll... Okay, oof. I was really afraid I was gonna take that kill. I really wanted to make sure we get the kill on this one, and my ult at this point does a lot of damage. So we're just holding on to it. We didn't need it. And that's also something to think about, is what do you actually need and when do you need it? All right, as we run into the mid and late game, then what you want to be thinking about is actually, did you want to be following your ADC at all times? You never, like, don't ever forget that you are a support before anything. Like, that is why you are playing this champion in the support lane. Like, it's not because you don't know how to farm. It's just like, play this champion to help out your ADC. And even though you do a ton of damage and you can probably solo kill a lot of people, then if you both help out your teammate and still do the like still kill people with it, then it's like it's a double victory. Like, that's why LUX is so freaking good, and why people even play her like in pro games from time to time, is because she is a really good mix between support and mage. Like, she's just like, she's overall just really insane. But make sure that you play her first as a support, like first and foremost with a support mindset, but mix in a little bit of that mid lane mentality of also how do we manage to kill the enemy. Positioning on LUX is very much in the mid to late game, like playing mid lane and playing an ADC support style, is that you want to make sure that you just hang back there with your ADC and you try and hit your shields on as many people as possible whenever you're fighting. Like, this is going to make things so much easier for your team, because your shield is actually a really big part of playing LUX. So in a real team fight, then what you want to be doing is hanging out in the back line with your ADC. Don't stand right on top of him. Keep a little bit of distance. Basically somewhat this distance from your teammate. Then you'll be able to hit your shields. If your entire team in front of you, it can be better to position yourself behind your ADC, because this way you can throw out your W to hit all of the targets in front of you, which can be really, really freaking useful. So we're just gonna kind of hang back here. I should have backed with Israel. This is gonna put us kind of out of sync, but we should be okay. So I'm gonna go back real quick here so we can finish off our boots and we can start building into an hourglass. But yeah, in the team fighting phase, then what you want to be doing is you want to be poking as much as you can with your E as the fight really erupts. This is where the difference between a decent LUX support comes out and a great LUX support. A great LUX support knows how to use her abilities in order to keep the enemy team from your ADC. So meaning what we talked about earlier, let's imagine that they're running towards your ADC, then throwing out your E and exploding it instantly is not going to be the best thing to do. It's going to be better for you to actually position it so they run all the way through it and you explode it at the very end, because this way it's going to take longer for the enemy to get to your ADC because they're going to be hit by that slow effect. And once they then get close enough, then you can snare them, and you're close enough to basically make the snare undodgeable. So try and make sure that you use your abilities in a way that really benefits your teammates, and use your W as early as possible in team fights whenever people are about to take damage, because this might allow you to use it more than once in a fight. Like the cooldown is like, it's not long, but it is still noticeable. Whoop. Okay, this is painful. I could have W'd that target. That was really bad. All right, so we need to be a little careful here. I'm pretty low on HP. We need to get some vision up. I'm gonna go put vision before the Drake spawns here. Whoop. Let's make sure that we have a good hunch of what's going on. We can take some good damage on this. Nice. All right, so we can just snipe out their brand, which is a huge thing for us. We're gonna start just taking as much of this as we possibly can. We'll put some pressure on, and this is like we know that we can safely poke at this distance. And that's what we want to be going for. So we'll make sure we get our shield on this target, help out as much as we can. We're gonna cast this in front of her such that we slow. So really nice. I did not play that perfectly, but you can also see at the end here, this target, like Lilia ended up dodging our Q, which is super fine. And then what we did instead was we casted our E in front of the way that she was running, such that if she kept running that way, she would go through the full slow effect, and there was no way she was going to get away from our team. So really do think about how you use this one, and that's actually going to be a GG. It's really, really nice. One thing you do want to think about also with your ult, I just want to mention these things before we end everything, is you want to make sure that you use your ult also on targets that, like, keep an eye on your teammates. If they get a CC on somebody on the back line, then even though you're really far back on, like, even though you're on your own back line, you can hit your ult all the way back to their back line. Like, you have so long range in this one. So if you see your Shen, in the case of our team, putting a taunt onto their ADC, then you can just fire off your ult from the backline and snipe that guy. Like, use your ult as kind of a utility to snipe out the targets or help out with bursting anything that your ADC is going for. Like, try and kind of help out, but your primary thing is make sure that you use your abilities not just to deal damage, but to support your team, support your ADC. And yes, sometimes that means getting kills, but most of the time it's actually going to mean snaring the targets, slowing the targets, shielding the targets, and helping out with burst. But be mindful with your burst. You don't want to be taking that important gold by taking their kills. That's not the purpose of playing LUX. And yes, you will get some kills on LUX in most games because you do so much damage, but that's why you have to be extra mindful. That's really, really important. But yeah, in the late game, it really comes a lot down to like sitting there poking. When the fight erupts, make sure that you're supporting your ADC. Try and hit your shield on as many people from your team as possible. Use it as early as possible such that your team benefits the most from it and you can possibly use it twice. And make sure that you look out for not only using your ult on your own snares, but also look for other of your teammates if they have some hard crowd control like stuns or snares that you can follow up your ult with to snipe somebody out real quick. She is an insane support and she's a really fun one. I hope you guys somewhat enjoyed this one, but yeah, this is a speech from somebody who's played a lot of ADC and also know what you need in order to help your ADC. And the reason why we have a support is to help the ADC, so don't forget it. Even though you're playing LUX, it's super important. Like, that is gonna take you so much higher than anything else. Like, getting a 10-0 on LUX as a support is not an amazing thing. The amazing thing is actually getting 10-0 on your ADC and you being 0-10. I know that sounds weird, but that's actually what you want to be going for. And getting a few kills here and there, of course, sure, go for it. But generally speaking, you want to help out your ADC. You do enough damage as it is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, found it somewhat helpful. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. And yeah, if you are new in here, make sure to go subscribe down below. And yeah, that's actually going to be more or less it. Oh yeah, if you want to see me live, go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. I stream every single Friday. But with all of that said, that is going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, stay awesome, have fun, and take it easy, guys.